But welcome everybody to the Supercharge Salesforce One Mobile Adoption Webcast. I will be your MC, Mike Gerholt. This will be a fun webcast. We have a community that you can post to in the success group, and you can tweet at us and just have fun, ask questions. We've got some cool demos. We've got a lot of tips and tricks that we're going to help you with, and of course, don't leave early because we have two things. One, we're going to talk to a customer who's enabled this and do live Q&A. The live Q&A is always fun, so why don't we get started? Twitter, we've got the hashtag AwesomeAdmin. On Facebook, we've got button-click admins, and of course on YouTube, Salesforce admins. And of course, this webinar is being recorded, so this part you can skim past while we get that together. But the really cool thing is we're giving away something. Eric, do you want to talk about what we're giving away?
Yes. So we have a stuffed Sassy. If you've been around with Salesforce for a bit, you've seen these around. It's not the actual Sassy that walks around Dreamforce, but it's a replica, a stuffed Sassy, and that comes with a lot of admin swag as well that Sassy will be wearing when Sassy arrives. So that is the prize. If you do have a tip, please put it in the success community with mobile tip, hashtag mobile tip, and we will award the best prize at the end.
So that's an amazing giveaway. I wish I had a big stuffed Sassy. I'm quite jealous. So again, go to the admin webcast group with the hashtag mobile tip. You can say how great Eric is doing, and you can give big shout outs to Jillian and Chris who are running the webinar as well. So with that, let's talk about our agenda.
Yeah,
what
so
are we going to talk about, Eric?
A lot of great stuff for you guys. Pretty excited. So first we'll talk about the Salesforce One Mobile App. I think most of you are pretty familiar with it. We've been, live with the app for almost a couple of years now. But we'll give you a quick overview of that and the landscape, what we're seeing from customers today with the app. And then we'll get right into supercharging mobile adoption. And in that section, we're going to talk about Salesforce Adoption Manager, which is one of our exciting new features. We'll talk about free tools for tracking app adoption. And in this part, we'll really get into some of the App Exchange packs that you can really plug in quickly and help track mobile adoption. And then we're going to dive right into best practices for training and engaging mobile users. So, that's that section. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to talk to Matt Miller, who's the admin at Solar City. He's been seeing a lot of success with mobile at his company, and so we're going to go ahead and look at and talk to Matt about Solar City. So that's what we're covering today.
Woohoo! Love it. Let's get started.
Awesome. All right. So the Salesforce One Mobile App, for those of you who don't know and have been using it a little bit, this is your window into Salesforce. So as you know, customers have been using the Salesforce One Mobile App for a while, but the app is your window into Salesforce, and it brings all of your apps, all your objects, everything to the forefront. So your accounts, your opportunities, everything you work on day to day, brings those into the navigation. And I think what's the most exciting part about this, and what we've heard from admins specifically about, is really being able to customize it and build those custom workflows that are mobile. Matt's going to talk about that in a moment, and some of the things he's been able to do to customize the Salesforce One Mobile App and really make it work specifically for your company. And then one of the more exciting things about Salesforce One, as of recently, is that it works on Apple Watch. So you see a little visual of what that looks like on the screen, and you see Jillian showing off her Apple Watch. And that really pushes those notifications that are native on the mobile app to your watch. So that's great. So what we've seen with customers to date is really some great usage, and I want to thank everyone on the call that's been adopting the Salesforce One Mobile App and using it, because we have over 100,000 companies using the Salesforce One Mobile App. And On top of that, we've seen 4 million custom apps built on there. So again, the ability to customize the app has really been, a huge benefit for many organizations. And the ISVs that have jumped on with the Salesforce One Mobile App has been really exciting. So we've seen over 300 of our App Exchange partners really jump on and make apps that are Salesforce One Mobile ready. And as we talk about this, and really we're going to get more into the details of driving adoption, one thing that we do see is just great results from people using the app. And this is really, the business case and why our admins are so passionate about driving adoption is really the business benefits. So it's not just about being mobile for mobile's sake. It's really about driving faster response times, increasing productivity, and finding information faster. So these are just a few of the benefits that our customers are seeing. So again, that's just a high-level picture of kind of what's going on with mobile at Salesforce, and also some of the results that our customers are seeing so far. And really the first thing that I want to talk about is the Salesforce One Adoption Manager. So this has been available as of recently, so not that long. And really, what we started to see from customers was, people turning on mobile and really driving mobile adoption, but sort of, losing focus as priorities come along, and not being able to keep the ongoing support that's needed for mobile adoption. And so that was really the impetus behind Salesforce Adoption Manager, was to say, how do we help customers to continue to drive adoption of Salesforce One? So what is Salesforce Adoption Manager? So what Salesforce Adoption Manager is it's smart email journeys that really help users get the most out of the Salesforce One Mobile App. So this is exciting in a couple ways. So it's actually built on Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And so what it does is it takes in information from your users and serves up relevant content in the form of email based on how your users are using the product. So a couple things, and I'm going to get into detail about how this works and all of the different interactions that happen within Salesforce Adoption Manager. But before we jump into that, some key points about Salesforce Adoption Manager. So it is 100% opt-in by the org admin. So this is controlled at the setup level. And it's available in the US and UK and Australia at the moment. And what we're doing is staging it out, we're scaling the system out, and it will be available in other geos in the not too distant future. So what it really does, again, is it recommends features and actions based on what your users are doing in the app. And the good news is that if there is a user that doesn't want to receive these types of communications, they can opt out at any time from the program directly from any email sent on this program. So let's talk about what exactly Adoption Manager does. The easiest way to describe it is that there's 3 distinct email journeys, and they all have different purposes. So the first journey is really designed to get users to download the app that don't have the app. The next interaction, and I'll go into detail on each one of these, is once a user downloads the app, suggesting and following the user with actions that they could take in that first week. We've seen that the most successful mobile deployments of Salesforce get up and running quickly in the beginning. And so we've looked at that data and found the top activities that organizations take in that first week, and we've recommended those in this journey. The last one is bringing users back, and so this is for those users who engage with the app and then stop using it for 30 days. It's a reminder about the things that they have done and can do with the app. So let's take a look at each one of these different pieces. So the first one is the download the app journey, and this is to invite to download the Salesforce One Mobile App. So who's going to get this email? The people that get this email are users who do not have the Salesforce One Mobile App. So again, the system's intelligent. It looks at your usage on your existing account and looks for users who have not connected to Salesforce with the mobile app. When it finds those users, it will email them to download the app directly. And there's 2 options. If they get that email on their phone, they can download directly from the email. If they get that email on the desktop, this is also something that's powered by Marketing Cloud. They can text a link to themselves and actually download or send a download link to their phone. So if they're at their desktop, they're not really ready to download, they can send it to themselves to download later. So a couple great options. We know a lot of people look at email on their desktop, and so this is a great way to give them something to do on their desktop. And then we also, with week one, we really wanted to help users to get proficient and understand the app. And so this is a series of emails on that first week. The people who get this email are those that have just downloaded the app or that have downloaded in the last couple months if you were to turn it on today. So this journey, again, is about driving the usage that will keep users, will keep users coming back and using the app day to day and increasing productivity within the overall company. So the first interaction invites them to access records. So things like contacts or opportunities or anything they access day to day. There's a button to directly do that in the email. The next day is about taking action. So logging calls, creating tasks, creating a note, all those things that you can do directly from the action bar in the Salesforce One Mobile App. The third day is about collaborating. So posting something in the feed, liking something, all those things that we do day to day within a feed, made mobile and doing that on the mobile device. So day 4 is about reviewing dashboards and reports, and day 5 is about accessing files. So again, the goal here is to get great usage of the app in the first week and really drive usage. I think one of the reasons that we invited Matt to join us today was because within this interaction, 20% of the users that entered it took at least 2 of these actions. And so, that's the meaningful type of growth and usage that we're helping customers see. And this is what's really exciting about this is, that ongoing support, the fact that, you really don't have to do anything, but the program actually helps users to become more mobile, to make it more of a habit. And the last interaction is about reminding users to open the app if they haven't been in 30 days. And this is actually a newer interaction. This was actually just made available last week. And what this does is when somebody hasn't interacted with the app but has used it in the past, if they haven't interacted for 30 days, it will invite them to jump right back into the app. So this will only go to each individual user once, so you don't have to worry about a user getting spammed with multiple emails here. It's just a gentle reminder one time to come back and try out the app again. So the Adoption Manager is actually something you can easily turn on today. And the way you do that is you go into Setup, and instead of talking you through that, let's just take a look at how that works.
What are you going to show us today, Eric?
We're going to show a demo.
We're going to show a demo of how to turn that on.
Awesome.
Demos rock.
There we go. All right. Got it up in true Hangouts form there. All right, so this is a org. Probably very familiar with what this looks like. If you go into Setup in the top right, and into Manage Users, you'll see a new option that says Adoption Manager. If I click on Adoption Manager, I will see a description of what it is and also a link to an FAQ where I can find out more, but I'll also see just a simple checkbox where I can go ahead and enable and save that setting. And once I do that, all of those intelligent journeys that we just watched are instantly live for my users. So that was just quickly wanted to show you guys how to turn that on. It is pretty simple, which is what makes it so great.
That was incredibly easy.
One step.
It's a checkbox.
The checkbox. That's what we like.
Yeah.
All right. So that is Adoption Manager. So in addition to a simple feature, we've also been working with customers for quite a while on Salesforce One, and we have some tips. And to do that, I'm going to let Mike walk you through those.
Woohoo! So Eric, that's a very good overview, and I would tell all the admins, like, think about the amount of time that saves you, because you're not constructing these emails, you're not sending them out to users, you're spending your time being productive, taking business requirements and translating them into functionality, as opposed to reminding users you need to log in to Salesforce One. And for any admin that ever works with a sales guy, just giving them 5 minutes of productivity, if you did that for every single day for a week, that's like a half hour. Now they get a little bit extra lunch break. So simply updating records, like, I love this. And for the admin, I'm not creating emails. So the first thing we're going to do to drive adoption is let's push them into the app. If we're going to talk about Salesforce One, let's use Chatter. The one thing I love to do is I love to create a Chatter group. So you can call it Training and Success, you can call it Salesforce Support, but put a place that everybody has access to where you can share your tips and tricks, your success stories. Go around every day and talk to people who are using Salesforce One and find out what they use, how they use it, and maybe their secret to success, so that some of the people who are less hesitant to getting on board can read those. So here we can see that Jillian posted, she manages her day with Salesforce One Today app, which is really great. And these chatter groups are also a good place to post videos. So you can put YouTube videos in there, and then that way it makes it real easy for your Salesforce users to consume quick videos, maybe while they're over lunch or while they're checking up on some other emails. So chatter groups, make sure everybody has a home, and drive tips there and drive people there. The next thing is we're probably going to have to talk to management. So let's walk around and gather some user feedback and ideas. The experience of using Salesforce on a mobile device might be a little bit different than what some people are used to. So are there ways that we can change the mobile layout? Is there ways that we can enhance the experience for them, maybe create some publisher actions? And without going through how to build this app, we actually have a link with a SlideShare demonstration that walks you through building a simple app using publisher actions that you can gather all of this feedback from your users. So while they're in chatter, if they have an idea, it's a simple formatted way, and then that way you're getting all the feedback and you can go ahead and pass that along and digest it, and that way it's in structured form. So gather user feedback is always a great way to drive adoption. And of course, if we're gathering that feedback, we're probably going to have to report on that feedback. Oh, but before we do that, Eric, I think we did something really cool at Salesforce with our executives, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah. So one of the things we know, and this is probably something you guys have done a lot as well, is anytime you change anything about how your employees use a technology set or a product or anything, you have to get the buy-in of executives, and they need to sponsor your projects and get behind you. And so we definitely took this idea to the next level with the Salesforce One Mobile App internally at Salesforce.
Oh, hang on, guys. It looks like we've lost some audio from Eric.
That's okay. I'll fill in. So, yeah, and I've actually done this with Salesforce rollouts. Getting the phone and getting the app and sitting down and spending a few hours with an executive and getting them on board is priceless. Now, you probably don't have to create a super shiny glossy picture like this. But if you have the skills, then all the better. But just getting quotes, and that goes back to that chatter group. You can post, hey, just talk to the VP of Sales, and here's how he uses Salesforce One. Showing that your executives are on board with it is a great way to drive adoption, especially top down.
Great.
Can you guys hear me again, or?
You're back, Eric.
I'm back.
There it is.
Yeah, definitely. So, what we're really focusing on is getting the executives to kind of tell our story for us, and I think, for everyone to be, having an email sent from an executive, it might be, putting a PowerPoint slide together with a picture of that executive. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but it's important to make sure that the executive support is formal and that your customers, your employees, see that. It's not just about having it in an offline meeting.
Great. And of course, what better way than getting adoption than creating on-demand training videos? So if you went to any of the Salesforce One World Tour events, you got to see us present a lot of habits and hacks for Salesforce admins. The two I love the best is App, which is a great way to simulate the mobile experience in the browser, and of course there's Chrome extensions. And using both of these is a good way that you can capture what's going on and actually demo it to a user, because they're probably familiar with a laptop, and we all know that demoing a phone in front of a large group of people isn't exactly easy. So you're combining the ease and usability and familiarity of having a laptop in front of them, but with the mobile experience. So App is a great way, and of course Chrome extensions. And then for your users that can't be there, you can maybe use Camtasia or EasyVid to capture that and then post those videos to your chatter feed.
So Mike, one other thing that we did internally was to really not just document use cases, and I think that's certainly important in its own right, understanding the specific use cases for mobile and across departments and functions. But we also documented those and shared them out with our internal Salesforce users, and we said, here's 50 ways that you could run marketing from your phone, right? So giving them real-life examples, having users submit screenshots and photos of how they're using the app, and then create that content that helps people to understand how the app can specifically work for their use case. So, I think one of the things that's challenging about getting adoption is that the app can do a lot of things, right? And so what this does is it helps your users to see the specific things that they can do, not the 100 things that you can do with the app that might not be relevant for a service agent, for instance, or across the board. So I think these are really handy assets. It could be a PowerPoint for you might have one for sales. Here's how at XYZ company. Here's how we use the Salesforce One Mobile App for sales here. And here are 15 ideas of things you could do tomorrow that'll help you be more productive in your job. It's the what's in it for me perspective for users. How are they going to use it? What are they going to do? And that's a great way to drive usage.
Yep, I love it. So here are some resources for training and engagement. We will get all of these links posted into the success group, and then that way you can see how you can do a mobile rollout and overview, as well as the success community, and then of course the App, which I talked about, which is a great way to train users.
All those links are in the success community right now, so don't have to take notes on that. They're right in the Q&A.
Sweet. I love it when things show up right now. So let's talk about tips for tracking adoption. If we're going to drive adoption, I bet all of our executives that we just sat down and talked about Salesforce One are going to want to see reports and dashboards and some metrics behind it. So the first thing we can do to track adoption is go and get the Salesforce One adoption dashboard from the App Exchange. So simple to download, and the App Exchange has more than just apps. So it has pre-built dashboards and reports like this one. You could easily spend a couple days building all of these reports and not know if you're tracking the right metrics. But at least with this dashboard, you have a place to start and a place to start the conversation. So this was included in our resources. And then you can change it, right? As adoption grows, maybe there's different metrics that you want to change or metrics that you find more valuable or less valuable. So the first place is the App Exchange for the Salesforce One Adoption Dashboard. And then, of course, what else can we do? Well, we can create a checkbox that is automatically populated when records are created through Salesforce One. So not only can we see if users are logging in, but are they doing anything once they're logged in? And again, this link to show you how to create the checkbox and how to do the timestamp is a little bit outside of our time window for this webinar, but we'll have a link that will show you how to walk through and create all of this so that you can actually track it and report on it.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the insight into tracking. Like Mike said, a lot of the resources will show you, click by click how to do these things. We wanted to cover it high level, but we definitely we're going to provide you guys with a lot of material to help out there. Next up, definitely want to introduce, and I know we've already talked to Matt just briefly, but Matt Miller is with us from Solar City. And Solar City is a fantastic Salesforce customer and doing some great things with mobile, especially. So, Matt, welcome.
Thank you.
That's great. And I also definitely like the sun shining in and the tie to Solar City.
Unintentional, but
accident.
Thank you.
Great. So. In terms of how you're driving mobile adoption, I guess let's just start from the top. Can you tell us a little bit about Solar City and what you guys are doing as a company?
Yeah, sure. So we are currently we're America's #1 solar provider. It's a position we take pride in, but it's also kind of something that we're aware that there's a lot of competition, and so we're growing really quickly. So kind of being able to manage that growth means that development resources and development as a whole comes at a very, very high price. So we look at tools like this one, and we try to find ways to reduce development costs. And Salesforce is one of the tools that we use to reduce development costs. So we look at kind of ways we can make better apps within the platform that would take less time to develop on Salesforce than they would kind of outside the platform. And we find best use cases for them within the company. I know for us, this was a win-win just because it was so easy to kind of bring in, and so bring in the other applications for the mobile app that we might not necessarily have been thinking of. Maybe there are portions that would be more relevant to an individual in our installers group, for example, that wouldn't necessarily be relevant to our sales guys, but we don't necessarily have visibility to that from our current standpoint. So it's been a real good use.
Great. So Matt, I think one of the things we were talking about before is kind of how your teams are using it out in the field with customers. So can you tell us just a little bit about how are you guys using the app when they're out in the field?
Yeah, so we have lead entry forms for our field agents as well as our employees as an overall. We released those to, I guess, their standard lead entry. We have opportunity as well, but lead entry is kind of more of that field operation type of work. We've seen a lot of increase in kind of overall adoption by the agents as well as the managers that are directly above them, kind of giving them easy statistics and easy ways to track via their phone as well. So that's been kind of a couple of ways we've been looking at the adoption increase. But again, this is primarily the fact that it's so quick that if we have something new that rolls out and someone hasn't checked in, this kind of stuff triggers that reminder. That way they're not getting 70, 80 emails from us, all these reminders. It's something that's intelligent that's saying, hey, look, this is a targeted instance, and maybe you can use this tool. So it's very, very powerful.
Great. So I think you're definitely starting to talk about Adoption Manager. So can you elaborate a little bit on kind of what you were thinking when you turned it on and what you're hoping to get out of the program?
Yeah. So I mean, again, the whole concept of the development resources are premium. So it's the idea is that you're saving time for yourself. But I think one of the things that I thought of, and it's really kind of, I think, the powerful part of this entire thing is that you get into the concept of you want Salesforce to be something that is there at the right time, right? So it's there at the right time for someone who hasn't used it in a little bit and gets reminded, oh, I should use this tool. But it's not there for the person that uses it every day and then gets pinged again, hey, you should use this tool, right? So it's the intellect behind it, or the intelligence behind it, has been kind of one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we always kind of maintain that respect of our users, I guess. So that's really cool. And also at the same time, we're making sure that we're hitting that target demographic of folks that aren't logging in. So it's really good.
That's fantastic. And I think I mentioned earlier, but obviously SolarCity is kind of leading the way with Adoption Manager. With 20% of the people that are in their first week using the app are taking at least 2 actions, which is definitely like in the top, I think, 20 accounts out of all Salesforce customers that have this turned on. So that's pretty exciting, and just getting that 2 actions up front, I think, is something that is already creating that habit of mobile and setting up SolarCity to be more mobile. So that's great.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go for it, Matt.
I was just going to say, kind of the other thing that's enabling for us is that we're able to have our field agents be connected when they're with their customer. So I mean, obviously, that's something that we typically do with a laptop. So I mean, this is more of I guess, an overall Salesforce one. Why is it important, right? For us, it was really important because it enables that face-to-face communication that's not between a laptop, right? So that overall, that ease of communication is something that we look at, and look at tools like Salesforce One specifically and go, this is why we want that adoption. It's not just we want adoption for adoption's sake, but these are the reasons why we want it. So I don't know, for me, when I talk about adoption with my execs, I look specifically at the target reason why. What's the experience that we want our sales guys to have? What's the experience we want our customer base to have, right? So kind of remember that when you're approaching this tool and when you're approaching kind of your execs as a whole, just kind of have that end goal in mind of why do we want to adopt Salesforce One, and then develop around that as well. So sorry if I went on there. My apologies.
That's great. And I know you're using the Salesforce Adoption Dashboard, the pack that Mike talked about just briefly a couple slides ago. Can you just go into that a little bit? What are the metrics? Why did you enable that? And kind of what's it helping you with?
Yeah. So we have a couple of different ways we've managed logins and kind of look at overall statistics for what we view as a successful login or a successful adoption for a particular role. Because obviously people are using it in different ways. So I think we made some modifications to the base dashboard, but we get logins by profile. We get kind of overall use by profile. So that's kind of the general statistics you want to get to see what groups you need to engage. Because at that point it's okay, we're sending out these emails to folks that aren't really using it a whole lot, but maybe I need to talk to the management of those folks and say, how can I help you? How can we integrate this better? How can we build a better tool for this particular role, right? So sometimes those conversations need to happen, but the reporting and how you use the reporting is defined where that is in the organization. Because if your organization is massive, I mean, we have 12,000, 13,000 employees. Finding where you needed help and where your skill sets needed is sometimes it's very challenging. So I use this particular dashboard as far as a login dashboard to target specific groups and say, hey, look, this group maybe they need some help. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to have Salesforce do something else that's not doing right now that it can do, but they didn't know it could do. Right. So it's a lot of those situations in large companies. So that's probably the best use case that I have right now for the Adoption Manager dashboards, but it's a great overall resource for that.
Okay, perfect. Well, Matt, really appreciate that. So we're going to jump into Q&A. I think we want to make sure there's plenty of time for everybody to ask their questions. So I'm going to jump on to Q&A here, and I think Jillian, you're going to help us get some questions out in the group, right?
Yeah, we've got some great questions already coming from the success community, so thanks for everyone for joining in there. The first question is from Susan Link. We don't have chatter or files enabled. Does the logic see this and not send those emails?
So that's a good question. Right now, the program is templatized to just one series of emails. So that's certainly something that we have seen ideas come through about. And at this point, it is a series of emails, and if chatter is not enabled, the collaborate email still will go out. But that's certainly great feedback. I can tell by the question that that's something that you would like. We can definitely think about that for future releases.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
And you can customize the emails, can't you, Eric?
You can choose whether or not your users get the emails, but the emails themselves are out of the box right now for the first release.
Okay, first release. More to come.
Yep.
All right, next question is from Mark Brusso. Is the Salesforce Adoption Manager designed exclusively for Salesforce One or for all of Salesforce?
Good question. So right now it is designed for Salesforce One, the mobile app, but we intentionally kind of kept the feature broad so that in future states we can extend it to other products. So I think this is the first iteration of Salesforce Adoption Manager. It is focused on the Salesforce One Mobile App, but we hope, based on the success we're seeing so far, which has been really great to see, that we'll be able to open it up to other products.
Great. All right, we've got another one. This one's from Raina. I know, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to screw up your name. Raina Bennett Delwo. Apologies. The question is there a way to select which one of the tips are sent during week 1 and later?
No, so the emails are just the series of emails as we walk through today. Like I said, as we learn more, as we get more feedback, we will iterate on kind of the customization capabilities of the feature.
All right. Great. Let's see if we've got any more questions in there. Let's see.
While you look for questions, Julian, I'll point out that there's a lot of great tips from admins in there about using Salesforce One, i.e. You should be using it so that you can give best practices and tips.
Yeah. All right. I think that might wrap the questions that we have right now. So if you've asked your question in the success community and we haven't answered it, don't worry. That's the great thing about asking it in the success community. We will absolutely get to it. And the great thing is, even if we don't have the answers, we can get the expert in there to directly answer your question for you. So now, drum roll, we can announce the winner of our stuffed sassy doll and our awesome admin swag. Our winner with a total of, I believe, 4 adoption tips, maybe 5 adoption tips, is Rick Nania. Congratulations. You won a stuffed sassy doll, very coveted item, and we'll be in touch with you to get your address so that we can send it to you. And to everybody else, thank you so much for joining. Huge shout out to our customer, Matt. Thank you for joining us today and telling us your story about Salesforce One Mobile Adoption. And big thanks to Eric. Thanks for presenting all that great material. And of course, the one and only Mike Gerholt. Thanks for joining us today and giving us your tips on how to get your Salesforce One Mobile adoption up to speed. And for everyone else, thank you so much for joining us. This is immediately available on YouTube, so if you missed any part of it or you want to share it, I'm going to post the link on the Success group in just 1 or 2 moments. And again, thanks so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more admin webcasts.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.